Good afternoon. This is Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends Blogspot. Today is Friday, June 23rd, 2006. The market's just closed for the week, so let's go ahead and take a look at these cues. The Nasdaq 100 Trust here. I've got a 10-minute time frame first to start out with on here, and it looked like this morning that they were going to break them down. Perhaps I started getting into a couple of shorts, maybe a little bit prematurely. We'll talk about those here shortly. But I thought breaking down below here, we could set up for a close of this gap and a test of the lows. That didn't happen, obviously. So the sellers got frustrated. The buyers took quick control, and they had control for about 10, 20 minutes in here, as we saw just a couple large green candles. And the market then drifted lower, further establishing this 3850 level as a level of resistance right now. So altogether, I think today was a negative day, really, the way you look at it. I mean, the buyers came in quick and then they failed, once again trapping people at higher prices. So the market has now made a lower high, and these failed moves that continue to occur like this just frustrate the buyers, and it's just a matter of when are they going to give up and throw it all out, Now, next week on Tuesday, we've got the Fed, so maybe the Fed is going to pull some kind of rabbit out of their hat and save this market. They've definitely got the odds against them with the market in a serious decline like this, and at 3850, 3870 level acting as such strong resistance here in the short term. It's just a classic lower highs and lower lows. This consolidation has occurred on lighter volume, and I think it's still guilty till proven innocent, more likely to break down than it is to reverse from here. So we have to continue to be very cautious and at the same time look for opportunities on both sides of the market, because some stocks are going up and others are going down. Let's take a look at some of those stocks we mentioned yesterday. First, we'll look at NIC Incorporated, symbol EGOV, Eddie George Oscar Victor. And here in the daily time frame, we can see it still looks pretty positive, holding support there. And what I had suggested was buying it above $7.35. It did get above $7.35. Once it was above that level, I said we wanted to set our stop below $7.20. It came down and hit 7.20, didn't go under it. So if you held that one over the weekend, I think that on Monday you continue to hold your stop underneath that $7.20 level. I don't like the fact it's below the 5-day moving average right now, but the 5-day moving average still is advancing. VA Linux or VA Software, Linux Corp, I had suggested a purchase near $4 a share, and the stock failed. It came down through our stop that I had suggested at 393, stopped out for a 7-cent loss on this trade. So Linux right now, I would say let's see if it can rebuild a base in here and then maybe start to get going. MDTL, this is Metis Technologies. This stock I'd mentioned I had a small position in, and very small position. I got out of that today. I was looking to add to that stock if it got above $7.20. Today's high was $20.20. Today it did get up to $20.20, but it did not go through that level, so there was no reason to be a purchaser of the stock. And I like the fact that it's making these higher lows, but still needs to exhibit that strength before we can trust it. It's still, in this downtrend, although it's starting to show some nice consolidation in here. It's still a very ugly looking chart, so be careful with this stock. And next I had VSE, which was the ethanol play. We were looking at this one above $26.50. The specialist opened it at $26.48 today. It didn't get above that $26.50, and the stock failed. And I don't know if I'm going to even mention this one again. I'm just sick of these New York Stock Exchange stocks. They I just don't like the way they trade. I was watching this one intraday, and the liquidity in it is just terrible. So. Maybe I'll change my mind about that, but right now I'm not too thrilled about that stock. Electronic Arts, ERTS. This daily chart still looks very negative. The buyers tried to run it up in here today. It didn't hold, and what I had suggested was actually selling it short below yesterday's low. It never did that, so no reason to get involved from the short side. But again, I think that this failed action is very damaging to the psychology. And I still think taking out these lows over here near $40.75, that's going to be the catalyst that pushes this one lower. So we'll continue to watch that one next week. Gilead Sciences, symbol GILD. This stock was one that I had gotten into. I had suggested selling it short below 54.76, and I don't know what's wrong with my charts right now, but it really annoys me when this happens. Anyways, I would suggested selling it short below $54 and 76 cents. It did go below that 54.76. I sold it short as it rallied up a little bit here. I'll show you. I sold it short in here this morning as it looked after it rallied up from that level and looked like it was dropping lower. I quickly got stopped out of it for a small loss. I do still think the stock looks vulnerable, so perhaps we'll visit it next week. But I took a small loss in this one, as I did also take a small loss in WFMI. It suggested selling short Whole Foods below this low, and again, I didn't sell. Yeah, I didn't want to sell it short right away. Instead, I waited for it to rally up and then start to fail. I sold it short, I believe, right in here. I thought it was breaking back below the VWAP for the day and got stopped out up there. It was about a 5-minute hold. I lost money on it, and that didn't make me happy, but at least I didn't hold it through this rally here. And overall, I think that Whole Foods still looks very vulnerable to a bigger decline, so we'll continue to take a look at it. Check Chesapeake Energy, CHK. I thought this one was looking vulnerable. I stand by that, but I stand by that I thought it was looking vulnerable. But here we had a takeover in the group this morning, so this stock gapped higher. And good thing we didn't sell it short the day before, because that would have been pretty painful. So nothing lost in there. We were looking to sell it short below yesterday's lows. Obviously, that never occurred. It gapped up above the level I was suggesting as a worst case stop. So let's just forget about CHK for now. And then we had CEN, Ceridian Corp. This stock I had suggested short the other day and suggested lowering the stop to about a break even right here. So that stopped out. So where are we? We are in a downtrend. We've got the Federal Reserve meeting next week, and a lot of people are looking for maybe some kind of catalyst there. I think you got to keep your expectations low. News and surprises tend to follow the direction of the trend. Clearly, the trend is lower. The Fed might say something that spooks these markets. We'll have to see. I'm not in the business of making predictions, just only reacting to price movement at certain levels. And all these ideas are just brought to you as suggestions of potential plays. How you actually end up trading is up to yourself, whether you decide to or not, or if you're here just to listen and see how somebody else looks at the market. I do appreciate you coming by to my blog. Thanks for your time. Have a great weekend. I will be back at some point this weekend, probably on Sunday, with another video with some ideas to look forward to make some money next week. Thanks again. Have a great weekend.